Hello everyone, I just picked up a new saw. This is a Vevor, Tough Tools half price. Well, we'll see about that. This ran me about $120, whereas this MS-162 ran me $200. It's a 16-inch bar, 30cc, and this is a 58. So a lot more power here. Weight-wise, they're really not that different. They feel about the same in the hand. So I've got some videos up on this. We'll do a cold start comparison between the two. But here's our focus. We're going to go over what all this comes with and how to set it up and maybe do a few cuts with it. I don't have any wood yet. I just bought the next door property and I'm still waiting on things to finalize before I can start cutting stuff down. But as you can see, she's pretty overgrown. Believe me, it's been an eyesore for years. So in the box, you get the power head itself. You get a bag full of tools, an 18-inch bar, an 18-inch chain, a sheath to go over your bar, an instruction manual. I highly recommend you look that over, especially if you've never run a saw before. Inside this little bag, you get all sorts of tools here. You get a couple sets of earplugs. Very good, because this thing says it's 113 decibels. You get a chain sharpener. You get 2 Allen keys. We'll use one of those here in a minute. You get a giant set of dogs. I mean, that's one up on what the sthil has, which is just plastic dogs, and they really don't do much. So we'll take the upgrade. Screws for the dogs are just floating around in this bag, so be careful not to lose them. Uh-oh, I only see one. Oh, there's the other one. Yeah, be careful not to lose them. And a nice little screwdriver that you can fit in one way or the other. You're basically going to want a flat head. I don't really see anything Phillips head on this thing yet, but you can flip it around and have it either way. And you also get a squinch, a mix between a screwdriver and a wrench. This odd looking tool goes to your spark plug and your 2 nuts that hold the side cover on. To access your air breather, you just take the screwdriver, pop these 2 tabs out. This pops off. You can unscrew your air breather. You can pop this guy off, and that gives you access to your spark plug. Pretty easy to work on overall. Now to put that back, you kind of line this tab up in the front, put it down, and click these back into place. So step 1 with your saw is going to be to take these 2 nuts off using your squinch. And you will see that this whole side will lift off. Next thing you want to do is find your dogs, your 2 screws, and an Allen wrench, the larger of the 2 that are in the set. You want to put your dog like that, where it's kind of facing upwards, so when you rock in, it'll dig into the piece of wood. If it's the other way, it's just going to kind of slip off there. So we're going to start that into these 2 holes. And now those are on. Now comes the hardest part of any chainsaw, putting your chain on. When you open it up, it's going to look like a mess. Don't fight with it. You kind of got to just let it unravel itself. Oh, it kind of undid it. But a lot of times it'll look like that, and you just kind of need to unfeed it. And then you might get good up here, and then it'll be all messed up down here, and you just got to turn it over. Keep going back and forth until the teeth are on top and this bit's on the bottom. Set that to the side. Now on this cover here, you have an adjustment screw. I'd go ahead and put it about here, a little bit past center, because that seems to be where it wants to tension it up. What this is doing is it goes into this bar right here, this little hole. And as you adjust that, it'll move this whole bar forward and backwards, and that's what puts tension on the chain. Now that your chain's all sorted out, on the side of the cover, it has a picture of how this should look. There's your rounded bit, there's your cutting bit. You want it to look like this when it goes on there. If it's like this, where this bit's going forward, you have it backwards. So you want it like that. So lay it on there like that. There's little teeth in here that this will line up onto. And we're going to set our bar on. And you want to get all of the chain in the groove that's running down the length of the bar. Take your cover, slide it on, and this is where you may have to adjust this adjustment screw to get that pin to line up. I'm sorry, that adjustment screw does not go in the tiny hole like I thought. It goes into this bigger hole up here. Now that this is on, I'm going to throw my nuts on and get them kind of tight. Once you get this all figured out on there, you can tighten these down. Or if you have it close but you're not super happy with it, see how tight that is and it doesn't move super easy. We're going to back these off a little bit. Take our screwdriver, and our screwdriver's broken. It just spins. Okay, well, we'll take our squinch and kind of loosen it up a little bit. That's a little bit better. Yeah, it slides on there. That's a little. Now there's going to be a bunch of comments on how loose this bar should actually be. You want a little bit of slack, but not too much. Okay, you don't want it super tight. Then we'll tighten these down. Don't over tighten it. Get them snug. Make sure we're still okay with our bar. Now we're ready to go over the rest. Congratulations, you've made it past the hardest part of owning a saw. I will say the steel is a little bit easier with its one nut and then the tensioner adjustments right there instead of being on the front. That's kind of a pain being up here. So here's your basic controls. You have on and off, you have a choke, you've got your throttle that requires you to hold in on this and pull. You've got your fuel oil mix, that's a 40-to-1, and you have your bar chain oil that goes here. Your muffler's on the front, be mindful of that. It should be out of your way though. And you have a chain brake. How this works is, let's say I'm sawing along, I catch something, and this thing jumps back at me with the blade like that. Well, the theory is your knuckle is going to dive into this and it's going to engage a brake down in here and stop this chain from moving on you. So if you ever start this engine up and the blade's not moving, make sure that this is pulled back and it should start spinning. One thing I did notice about this is it does have dampeners on the handle, which is nice. The steel also has this, but look at how much looser the steel is. It's got a lot of movement in it, whereas this one's pretty, you know, it's there, but it's pretty tight. Now this does come with a bottle of mixed fuel in. I'm not going to use that because I go to the gas station, I put exactly a gallon in. I'll put a bottle of premix in there, I'll shake it up, and then we're good to go. So I don't do any of this extra trying to mix it out of the bottle. Something else you'll notice, there is no primer bulb on this engine, so we'll see how well it starts like that. The steel does pretty good without it. Normally a few pulls with choke, a couple pulls without, and you're going. So we'll see how this does. Yeah, I really think that there's a spring assist start in this. We'll go over that when we go to pull it. Oh, one other thing. I think this is supposed to be competing with a 311. I'll put that here, and it's like a $600-700 saw with the steel. Like size-wise, you know, it's 20-inch with 58cc, and that there is like a $200 saw. So for 120 bucks, if this thing works and it's in any way comparable to that, then I think we're doing okay. So I've got some bar chain oil here. We're going to use the included funnel, I guess. It does have a little retainer, that's nice. I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up. Come over here and put our fuel mix in. You will see that this has like a spring assist start, so when we pull it, it's going to do something like that. So we'll give it a couple here. Well, I see a problem already. This grommet came out. That's not good. That's going to just tear our line up like that. Have to get that shoved back in there. That's a problem. There she goes. had the switch in the wrong position. The internet lied to me. Believe that? Well, turn choke on. See how hard it is to start again. Now she's hot. Okay. That's not too bad. All right, that don't sound bad. All right. See how hard the steel is to start. Turn choke on. At least this one I know what on and off is. Oh yeah, she's ready to go. Flip her off. Boy, this one's a lot louder. A lot louder. Almost no comparison noise-wise. Well, I wish I had some more test material, but I really don't. This is going to go quick for this big saw, but let's care about it. See about the steel. This has a little duller blade on it, so. But that didn't bog it down at all. Golly. That's a big difference. See if I can get one more out of that. All right, that goes right. Oh, that's going to be. It didn't even bog down. That's all right. We have a winner. I know it's not fair to compare the two because they're two different ones, and well, shoot, this guy is just lacking on power in general. Yeah, that bar is definitely a little sloppy. It needs sharpened. I hit a piece of metal with it. I was helping someone cut up some trees, and they must have had a pole or something growing up next to it because we cut down fine, and then I hit something really hard, and it blew the chain off of it. But yeah, we found out there was a bar grown up the side of the tree. I guess must have had a bar stuck in it to help it grow straight up, but that didn't work. The tree grew over sideways. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I see one major flaw with this Vevor saw already, and I'm not liking it, is this little rubber grommet is already come out of there. So that's going to tear our cord up pretty bad, and pushing it back in doesn't seem to do much. So big ding right there. The steel has a nice, well, believe it or not, steel grommet there. So this cord's going to last a lot longer. This one doesn't take much to start though. I'm really impressed with the you know. Whereas this one is kind of a, still not bad. So I think that's going to do it for this video. For 120 bucks, look at that, we're starting to tear through already. Well, I'm going to have to figure something out on that, but for 120 bucks, I don't think it's a bad buy. Considering I spent 200 on that, and it definitely doesn't have the power that this does. However, how long is this going to last? The plastic feels a lot cheaper. You know, this is nice and smooth. You got this rubber molding, whereas this is all just plastic. So I don't like to feel that rubber molding myself, but everything seems to work. And if you're a homeowner, go for it. You can't beat the price, I don't think. But time will tell. As we get into that property over there and start tearing stuff out and cutting up, there's going to be a lot of tree trimming videos coming up, and hopefully some more videos using this excavator to help clean up, because there's like a foundation from the house that's in there. It turns into a big mosquito pit every time it rains. This thing is going to see a lot of use. I will definitely take one of these newer saws over something from the 60s. This big David Bradley, she weighs about 30 pounds, but look at the big dogs on it. Oh, they pale in comparison. So leave a like and subscribe. We'll probably play with that one a bit too. I will see you in the next one, and have a great day. Sorry we couldn't get more cuts. That's about all the wood I had.